Perhaps the group above had already notified Dean Bailey in advance. Otherwise, considering the short distance between the family residence and the White Tower First Torch Academy, even if the 15 unfamiliar torch warships had only appeared for mere tens of seconds, it would have been ample time for him to arrive. Aside from bewilderment and fear, John Troze was filled with intense reluctance. It was only a few more months until he could extend his life, continue his search for a breakthrough in the vast starry sea. Amidst his strong unwillingness to give up, John Troze tentatively sent a communication request to the two cruisers above. Aboard the Furious Lion, Song Mingsong, who had intended to accept the call, ultimately withdrew his hand under Bai Shuken's stern gaze. On the other side, aboard the Mountain, Song Shan accepted the communication. Seeing Song Shan, John Troze's pupils shrank sharply. As an old, second-rank torch ship captain at the peak, how could he not recognize Song Shan? It was no secret among the upper echelons of the White Tower Floating Land that he was from a branch of the Dingai Song family. Lord Song Shan, if I remember correctly, my Troze family has never provoked your Song family, have we? John Troze organized his words, trying to make his tone sound not questioning but respectfully inquisitive. In response, Song Shan, who had prepared his answer, replied, I heard, your Troze family controls a secret realm? In the communication projection, hearing this, John Troze looked astonished, more confusion flashing in his eyes, his face almost bearing a few large question marks. Regardless of whether the other's expression looked genuine or not, Song Shan said coldly, Stop pretending. Whether you do or do not, we will know after a thorough search inside and out, but... Speaking, his tone suddenly changed from cold to severe. As for subsequent casualties, I cannot ensure anything. Also, don't expect any help from Dean Bailey, you won't make it that long. With that, the shipborne main cannons of the 15 torch warships overhead began to charge again. This sight sent John Troze into an inner frenzy. Who is it who leaked it out? The fact that he controlled a secret realm was something he had never revealed to anyone outside his few closest family members, and he could not fathom how the Song family had learned of it. Could it be? A flash of insight crossed his mind, but he had no time to ponder as a volley from the main cannons of the 15 torch warships overhead would turn the entire Troze family to dust without the protection of the nuclear energy shield. Lord Song Shan, it's true I control a secret realm, but I have a condition. He had hoped his words would cause the 15 warships to discontinue their charging, but the increasingly bright beams of light above told him it was a vain hope. John Troze, belatedly realizing something, saw his forced smile quickly fade, replaced by madness. He roared orders to Rock Troze below in the main hall. Destroy the secret realm, now. After saying this, he sneered as he looked back up at the projected image of Song Shan. Since you never intended to spare my Troze family from the beginning, don't expect to get your hands on that secret realm. Witnessing his frenzied state, Song Shan's expression remained unusually calm throughout. Did you think I was idly chatting with you up until now? How laughable. John Troze's sneer froze on his face, a bad feeling welling up inside him. Before he could give another command below, Song Mingsong suddenly appeared in the projection screen before him. Dare to harm my grandson, and unless you can bring the Guardian of the White Tower, no one can protect the Troze family today. Hearing these almost bellowed words, John Troze was utterly perplexed. Furious Lion, explain yourself, when have I ever? He paused mid-sentence as another projection connected, showing Song Kai from the Kang Chong. To leave a deeper impression on the other, Song Kai even wore the mask he had used to conceal his identity. It was this familiar mask that made John Troze instantly remember Song Chi's identity. The Void Crystal, it's you. And with that, he fully understood the cause and effect of today's events. In the projection ahead, Song Kai took off his mask to reveal his true face, smiling slightly. Seems you remember, tisk tisk. How does it feel to bully the weak? Good, isn't it? His words, though uttered in a common tone, had a lethal implication. Previously, his opponent, as a second-rank torch ship captain, had personally pursued to kill him, and now his two third-rank torch captain elders were looking down from above, ready to annihilate the family behind the opponent. A dramatically ironic reversal, isn't it? Within the Troz family, after receiving the order, Rock Troz and a dozen others rushed toward the family's secret chamber deep underground. But when they arrived at the entrance of the chamber, his gaze sharply intensified. "Grim, why are you here? Get out of here, take your mother." Before he could finish, Rock's words suddenly stopped as he saw the four terrifying soldier figurines radiating intense auras behind his nephew. Third-rank soldier figurine, you're controlled by the Song family? Rock Troz's eyes were wide with fury as he stood erect. Dozens of second-rank soldier figurines and a dozen Troz family members behind him rushed toward the secret chamber's doors. For a time, the entrance of the underground secret chamber was filled with the sounds of fierce combat. High in the vault of heaven, several kilometers away from the Troz family estate, a kilometer-long warship hovered quietly in the clouds. In the battleship's main control room, an enlarged projection screen displayed a clear scene of the battlefield above the Troz family estate. The director of Behi watched the projection screen intently and spoke respectfully to the projection light screen at his side. "Sir, are you sure we should not intervene?" As soon as the words were spoken, an indifferent reply quickly sounded from the communication projection beside him. "There is no need for intervention. The young man from the Song family seems to have done something significant. Word has come from the Dingai Song side that they have allowed his branch to return. The face of the Dingai side must still be given." "Yes, sir." If outsiders were present, seeing the director of Behi, who almost ruled alone over Behi City, showing such respect, they might have dropped their jaws in shock. However, if they knew the identity of the person on the other side of the communication projection, they would certainly find it only natural. For that person was none other than the being who reigned over the entire White Tower floating land. The owner of the fourth-rank Zhulu warship, Deep Sea Vast Sky, the defender of the White Tower floating continent. Geralt Eagle. John Troz, aboard the Covenant, had not received a reply from his son below for a long time and had already braced for the worst. He cut off communication with the Song family members. From the moment he saw Song Kai, he knew he had no way back. With Song Mingsong's temperament, he was bound to kill him. As his gaze grew resolute, the purple engine on the Covenant entered an overloaded state, and without hesitation, he activated the main feature of the engine that had saved his life many times before, Streamlight Sprint. Swish. The Covenant, which mere moments ago was alongside three of the Troz family's escort ships, suddenly became a streak of light, shooting straight for the vault of heaven. This sudden change caught Song Mingsong and Song Shan, both third-rank torch ship captains, a bit off guard. However, they soon wore cold smiles. Tens of thousands of meters above in the vault of heaven, the Covenant, in full sprint, seemed to collide with something. In the midst of a loud humming noise, the entire warship was completely deformed, the bow caved in by over 10 meters, even affecting the cockpit, squeezing John Troz into a pulp along with it. The speed of the Streamlight Sprint was astonishing, and under the enormous kinetic energy impact, even an escort ship couldn't withstand it. Of course, the main reason was that the Covenant John Troz was on had only blue-quality warship armor, and its own torch warship hull was mere white. Compared to its purple shield and purple engine, it was far from comparable. Inside the Song family warship, the Song family members were somewhat surprised. Even they hadn't expected this outcome. Originally, the layer known as Void Prison was only intended to prevent any fish that slipped through the net, but they didn't expect this unexpected joy. The collision with the Covenant directly resulted in the death of John Troz, the torch ship captain, thus preventing the Covenant from sinking. As a torch ship captain who had lived for nearly 300 years, his flagship would not lack valuable things, and this was the reason for the Song family members' delight. Below, seeing the fate of the remaining 3 Troz family escort ships, they already knew their inevitable end. Without any further hesitation, they madly charged towards the 15 torch warships above, wanting to drag a few down with them in death. However, facing 2 cruisers and 8 escort ships, this was nothing more than a pitiful and final struggle, and they were soon successively sunk. Thus, the Tros family, who had flaunted their power in Behi City for over 200 years, faced an inevitable downfall. In the central square of Behi City, the usually bustling streets were eerily quiet today, and the few pedestrians who were there all looked tense and hurried along. A virtual game blogger who had just woken up yawned as he walked out of his building and was taken aback by the scene on the streets. After finally stopping a passerby, he quickly inquired about what was going on. "What's going on? Have you been hit in the head? Didn't you hear that huge commotion just now? The Tros family has been annihilated, not a single soul spared. I heard it's because John Tros's previous actions of hunting down juniors were exposed, which provoked retaliation from the seniors of the other side." Listening to this explanation, it felt like something out of a novel, which made the game blogger scratch his head, somewhat doubting his life choices. As a native of Behi City, the Tros family in his eyes was an absolute top-tier wealthy family. Yet this powerful family, which was daunting in his eyes, had been wiped out in the span of time it took for a nap, which he found hard to accept. And there were thousands in Behi City at this moment who were just as slow to come to terms with what had happened. As for the subsequent events in Behi City, the Song family and their entourage naturally had no idea. After annihilating the Tros family, they quickly tallied their gains, cleaned up the battlefield, and left White Tower floating land before the public outcry began, heading out towards the heavens. As to why they cleaned up the battlefield so quickly, one would think that since there was a secret realm, careful consideration of how to handle the secret realm and its entrance would be necessary. Not to mention the various resources within the secret realm. Just managing its entrance is a huge challenge. Destroying an entrance to a secret realm is easy, but trying to open another entrance in a different star domain that leads to the same secret realm is as difficult as scaling the heavens. To accomplish such a feat, even a stellar sea creature of 4th rank level would not suffice. It requires a power of at least 5th rank level and above. Otherwise, the Moruo royal family would not have kept the entrance to the Moruo secret realm in Star Region 0155 for thousands of years. Even if Star Region 0155 is riddled with spatial rifts, it was once the heart of the Moruo civilization, and it's inevitable that some creatures would try their luck there, relying on special abilities or strange objects. For example, the 2 void membrane components that Song Ming Song obtained were exactly that. Therefore, having the Moruo secret realm in Star Region 0155 is extremely dangerous, far riskier than relocating it to where the remnants of the Moruo royal family are now hidden. If there were not a lack of 5th rank level combat power present, they would never have left it so vulnerable. Thus, there is only one possible explanation. The Tros family did not actually control any secret realm. Inside the Furious Lion cruiser, Song Chao, Song Hai, and others looked puzzled, and the younger members of the family like Song Kai were even more so. They distinctly remembered that John Tros had personally admitted to having control over a secret realm. Everyone's gaze turned towards Song Ming Song and Song Shan, who were the first to enter the Tros family's underground chamber. At the main control station, Song Ming Song, while operating the Furious Lion at high speed, laughed and said, "All right. Stop teasing you all, come with me." With that, he switched the warship to its automated piloting mode, commanded by the semi-autonomous onboard intelligence of the Furious Lion. He led Song Shan and the group toward the engine compartment behind the main control room. Hearing this, everyone's interest was piqued, and curiosity surged anew within them. Judging by the tone of Song Ming Song, it seemed there was still hope. The engine compartment of a cruiser is naturally very large, but what captured everyone's attention was not the vastness of the Furious Lion's engine compartment but the warship in the center with its front half caved in. This was the Covenant escort ship. When a Torch ship captain dies, 2 things generally happen. First, if the captain issued a self-destruct command before death, then the Torch warship will sink with them. Second, if the Torch ship captain died without any commands, then the Torch warship will go into preservation mode until a second seed of Torch comes to merge with it. As previously mentioned, each Torch warship can change captains up to 3 times. This condition only applies to warships that have been under no more than 2 captains. If already on its third, even if the Torch ship captain didn't issue a self-destruct command before death, the Torch warship would sink upon the captain's death. The Covenant at this moment clearly belonged to the second category, with John Troze previously serving as its initial captain, the first. This meant that the warship could change captains twice more if it didn't sink. Seeing his grandfather and uncle heading straight for the Covenant, Song Kai raised an eyebrow. Could the entrance to the secret realm be inside a Torch warship? Turning to look at Song Chi, Song Yu, and the others, seeing that they too were visibly perplexed, Song Kai realized that their guesses were likely the same as his. But as they stepped onto the Covenant, the confusion in their eyes deepened even more. At least Song Kai could not sense the slightest spatial fluctuation inside the escort ship. However, upon further thought, he felt that it was indeed as it should be. If the entrance to a secret realm truly resided within a Torch warship, then how could such a warship explore the alien star domain? The intense spatial fluctuations produced by the entrance to the secret realm left no room for discussion. If one were to explore the alien star domain while carrying this thing, even the Child of Destiny would likely be doomed. Could it be that the Covenant had long since ceased to explore the alien star domain? Or could it be that John Troze did not actually control the secret realm, and they were merely overthinking it? As he pondered, Song Mingsong abruptly stopped in his tracks. Seeing this, Song Kai and the others following him also stopped. His gaze passed directly over the second-rank Torch ship captains in front like Song Hai and Song Chao, looking towards the back at Song Chi, Song Lin, Song Wen, Song Kai, and Song Yu, the 5 of them. As for those even further behind, like Song Bo, Song Shishi, and Song Ting, they were ignored as well. The 5 of them were somewhat puzzled, unsure of what their grandfather intended. But the words that followed from Song Mingsong soon enlightened them. "You 5 lads, does anyone have an interest in this Covenant?" The meaning of his words was clear. He was asking if they were willing to give up their own warships to merge with the Covenant instead. As a second-rank peak Torch warship, the Covenant was equipped with components that included 2 of purple quality and more than a dozen of blue. Its combat power was naturally not to be underestimated, and it would likely rank high among second-rank Torch warships. However, the attitude of the 5 was highly unanimous. Without much consideration, they all rejected the offer in chorus. Hearing their response, Song Mingsong laughed out loud, extremely pleased. "Good, worthy of being my grandsons, such high aspirations." Of course, his words were actually directed at Song Chi, Song Lin, and Song Wen. As for Song Kai and Song Yu, being the 2 with the highest innate talent among his grandsons, it seemed only natural to him that they would refuse. If either of them dared to consider inheriting the Covenant, Song Mingsong might explode on the spot. As for the reason, it was quite simple. The big families and conglomerates of Torch human civilization clearly had a large number of mothballed Torch warships, but why then did they go to such lengths to train younger members of their family? Was it because they had more resources than they knew what to do with? Of course not. Although a Torch warship could change captains 3 times, it would only possess the potential for continuous enhancement in the hands of the first captain, the original one. Once the captain was replaced, whether the second or third, the warship itself, the Torch vessel, would lose the attribute for further enhancement. Moreover, the quality of the seed of Torch of the inheritors could not be lower than that of the original captain. The requirement was nothing if not stringent. Naturally, just because Song Kai and the others had refused did not mean the Covenant had lost its value. After all, it was still a second-rank peak Torch warship. Just based on its level 29 spectral energy cultivation platform, the warship's value was also beyond imagination. When they returned to the family in the future, it could entirely act as communal property for their branch, to be rented out. Those who rent the warship would have to pay certain merit points each month or year as rental fees. Don't think these would be difficult to rent out. On the contrary, the high-rank torch warships available for rent were often in high demand. The Dingai Song family, with a near 3,000-year inheritance and nearly 10 million blood relatives, had many who had lost their warships due to unforeseen circumstances. How many gave up their own warships to rent higher-rank warships in hopes of increasing the speed of their guidance technique training because they saw no hope for promotion? Furthermore, since each warship could only be rented out twice, this increased the shortage of available torch warships for rent, even though this restriction meant that the minimum leasing term for second-rank or higher torch warships was over 20 years, which still did not solve the underlying issue. Knowing this situation well, the Song family had brought a significant number of torch warships for rental on their return journey. Aside from the Covenant, there were 3 escort ships of the same rank, seized from the Bloodblade Star Thieves and currently stored within the mountain belonging to Song Shan. As for the first-rank spectral airships, there were even more. The number which had been seized from the Bloodblade Star Thieves and the previously encountered Tro's family was over 30, and these were separately placed within the flagship of Song Hai, Song Chao, and others. After receiving satisfying answers, Song Mingsong moved forward again, and the group quickly arrived at the component loading area of the Covenant. The group first scanned the nearly 30 components, then their gazes mostly settled on the 3 that shimmered with a purple hue. One was an energy shield, another a shipborne engine, and the last was. When they saw the third component, everyone's eyes lit up, and they all instantly understood the earlier implication in Song Mingsong's words. John Tros had not lied. He did indeed control a secret realm. It was just that he could move the entrance to the secret realm at will. The secret realm entrance in the underground chamber of the Tros family had indeed existed, but it was destroyed by Song Mingsong and Song Shan, who had arrived early. As for why they destroyed it and why they were not worried that they might never be able to enter that secret realm again, the reason laid right before them on this special purple component. Secret Realm Binder Level 20 quality. Purple feature. Secret Realm Entrance Opener. Consumption. 1000. Usage. Spectral Energy Points. Binding. Dragon Blood Mystic Realm, damaged. Effect. Bind a secret realm, and upon successful binding, the warship captain will obtain the right to freely enter and exit the secret realm. When entering the secret realm in this way, one can stay in the realm for a maximum of 1 hour per visit. Buffer. 24 hours no charging required up rank requirement. 15 strands of floating land origin, second rank, 6,000 spectral energy points, 1 titanium crystal. Secret Realm Entrance Opener. Consumption of 10,000 spectral energy points opens an entrance to the bound secret realm in a designated area. There can only be one such entrance at any time. It was not difficult to discern from the attributes of this component that, through this component, one could enter the bound secret realm once a day, and its feature even allowed for the creation of a doorway to the realm without the need for the intervention of a 5th rank level powerhouse. Seeing this, joy filled everyone's hearts, and almost simultaneously, the same thought arose. This secret realm could potentially become our branch's own private realm, without needing to turn it over to the family. As for why this idea emerged, it was quite simple. While turning over a secret realm to the family would result in a handsome reward, this was clearly not the most cost-effective choice for a secret realm capable of continuously producing a certain type of special resource. The true value of a secret realm lay not only in its special resources but also in its potential for long-term benefits. How could a short-term reward compare to earnings that could continue for hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of years? With this in mind, everyone's gaze involuntarily shifted to Song Mingsong at the center. Noticing this, Song Mingsong pretended to ponder deeply for a while, until Bai Shuken could no longer hold back and pinched him hard, prompting the old man to quickly reply. Rest assured, this secret realm will become one of our branch's foundations and will not be turned over to the family. Other direct and legitimate lines of our family also have their own secret realms. This is quite normal within the family, so there is no need to worry about exposure or anything of the sort. Moreover, if the special resources within this Dragon Blood Mystic Realm are valuable, it's highly likely that members of other branches in the family will initiate exchanges with other rare resources. At this point, Song Mingsong's tone paused, and his gaze swept over the special purple component with a rather solemn expression, saying, "Comparatively, the value of this Secret Realm Binder component may far exceed the realm of ordinary purple components. Without the intervention of a 5th rank power, it can freely move an entrance to a secret realm, a function that is bound to drive many small and medium-sized powers crazy, like the previous Moruo royal family. Therefore, everything about this component must not be revealed to outsiders, understood?" "Understood." After nodding solemnly, smiles that could not be concealed appeared on everyone's faces, the thought of owning a private secret realm in the future causing their smiles to fully bloom. However, speaking of the secret realm, everyone's curiosity was rekindled. Through this Secret Realm Binder, they learned that the secret realm under the control of the Tros family was named Dragon Blood Mystic Realm. Although from the word damaged that followed, they could guess that it was at least a lowest tier shattered secret realm, it was still a secret realm, and naturally, they were curious about the resources it produced. Seeing the undisguised curiosity expressed by everyone, Song Mingsong himself was actually equally anticipative, but there was no way around it. The Secret Realm Binder component could only be activated by the Captain of the Covenant. For now, they were at most outsiders and did not have the right. As for dismounting it and then mounting it onto their own warship, once they did that, they would likely have a hard time finding this mystic realm again. When a shipborne component is dismounted, all of its enhancement levels reset to 0, as if it was formatted, and at that time, the Dragon Blood Secret Realm mark, bound by this Secret Realm Binder, would inevitably be erased as well. Attempting to locate this mystic realm in the vast starry sea afterwards would be like looking for a needle in a haystack. Therefore, no matter how curious they were, for the time being, everyone could only hold back. Regarding the distribution of those components afterward, aside from the Secret Realm Binder, there were only 2 purple components left, both from the Covenant. The components scavenged from the other Tros family warships, whether damaged during the sinking or not, were at best blue components. The 2 remaining components on the Covenant were the Streamlight Kinetic Engine and the Mysterious Light Energy Shield, with the Streamlight Kinetic Engine being the most precious one. Its active feature, Streamlight Sprint, is an extremely good capability for saving lives. However, it didn't hold much attraction for Song Kai. He already had the Phantom Thruster, a special component, and the feature, Phantom Trace, was more than enough for him to save his life. For him, what was more important about a shipborne engine was ensuring an ample supply of spectral energy. Of course, the main reason actually was the enhancement level of the Shadow Capture Antimatter Overstate engine, which had already been enhanced to LV-30, not a small consumption of resources, particularly titanium crystal. Unless there was an engine component of higher quality, Song Kai would not easily replace it. In the end, the 2 components were distributed to his mother and Aunt Zhao Lan. His mother got the energy shield. The Dragonfly had just been upgraded. Although the ship already had a purple main cannon and a purple, half-serpent soldier figurine tree, an energy shield is the most important means of defense and self-preservation for a torch warship, so of course, it should be equipped as a priority. As for Aunt Zhao Lan, she was promoted a few years earlier than his mother, Chen Lixia, and she received the purple engine. After the purple components, there were quite a few blue ones. However, Song Kai did not find the soldier figurine components he wanted, nor were there any components like the healing fruit that repair the ship's body. He ultimately chose to take the 2nd-rank floating land origin. Currently, as his supply of titanium crystal has been exhausted, purple components like the Phantom Thruster and Brainwave remote control system cannot be further enhanced. However, blue components such as the electromagnetic ray cannon, fixed-point launch pad, Starry V-type warship armor, and Purple River translocation device do need enhancement, and the 2nd-rank floating land origin is exactly what he urgently needs. After allocating the various gains, because the spectral energy within their bodies was sealed and they couldn't practice the guidance technique, everyone only had enough time each day to briefly visualize the mythical mech projection imprint blueprint. With plenty of time on their hands, they indulged in leisurely conversation. The distance between the Dingai star domain and White Tower floating land exceeds 10,000 light-years, and even the blue translocation device on the Furious Lion, enhanced to the third rank limit, can only translocate up to 200 light-years at a time. Furthermore, it required a 10-hour buffer period after each translocation. So, it was impossible to hurry back in a short time. The journey would be delayed by at least a month, and that was if there were no incidents. If something did happen, this time might even be extended. Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye, several days went by. The Silver Spear floating land is located to the east of the Golden Shark starfield, neighboring the Golden Lion star domain. Hum, hum, hum. In a burst of intense roaring, the Furious Lion docked in the outer warship docking area of Silver Spear City, the capital of the floating land. The moment they walked out of the hatch, several younger members of the Song family were nearly dazzled by the bustling scene outside. In the docking area spanning over 10,000 square kilometers, a countless number of torch warships were rising and descending in every direction, nearly covering the entire sky above the docking area. Among these warships, numbering at least 10,000, their own 1,000-meter Furious Lion, although not bad, certainly did not stand out. Just at a glance, they saw over a dozen 1,000-meter level torch warships in their field of vision, and mixed in were two 4,000-meter level 4th rank Zhulu warships. At that moment, the voice of his uncle, Song Shan, came from behind. Silver Spear floating land is a level 3 life-form star sea floating land with a population exceeding 10 billion. Combined with the medium-range star domain transfer gate, established by the neighboring duchy for those coming to rest en route, explore, and participate in various commercial activities, there's no shortage of visiting torch ship captains. Plus, with a regulation that forbids torch warships from entering the city, this prosperity comes as no surprise, said Song Shan. After a pause, he continued, White Tower floating land is a frontier location, while Silver Spear floating land's level of prosperity ranks within the top 3 in the Golden Shark starfield. The two are worlds apart. Song Kai and the others nodded in understanding. Although they weren't precisely clear on what it meant to be ranked in the top 3 for prosperity in the Golden Shark starfield, they did have a concept of a level 3 life-form floating land. If it is said that over 99% of the life-form floating lands in the Starry Sea do not have a ranking, then among the less than 1% that do, level 1 and level 2 life-form floating lands make up over 99%. This means that out of 10,000 life-form floating lands in the Starry Sea, there might be one level 3 life-form floating land. Just as their minds were aflutter, a voice came from behind once again. However, this time it wasn't from the elder, but from Song Mingsong, who had already summoned back the Furious Lion. Okay. The medium-distance star domain transport gate will probably not open again for another 3 days, so none of you are allowed to stray today. You have to stay put for at least 24 hours, which means you can't leave until your internal spectral energy has been restored tomorrow. For now, let's head over to the hotel we booked. Hearing the serious tone of their grandfather, they all nodded and then quickly walked towards the city center. The medium-distance star domain transport gate is said to be a costly project constructed by the Duchy's Engineering Academy, designed to interconnect all the star domains under the Duchy and promote the circulation and development of the economy. The gate in the Golden Shark starfield connects to the Golden Lion star domain, reportedly capable of transporting thousands of light-years in a single trip and facilitates group transport. However, each transportation consumes significant resources, necessitating hefty fees, and each activation requires several days of buffering. Their arrival was ill-timed, as the last transportation had only recently been activated, so they needed to wait about 3 days. Silver Spear City, Silver River Street, Tengur Hotel. Today marked the second day since they arrived in the Silver Spear floating land, yet at this moment, members of the Song family were not in their individual rooms but had gathered in the Kilometer-class warship summoning room located in the hotel's underground. In the interstellar Great Era, Torch warships are existences that every Torch ship captain might need to summon at any given moment. Naturally, the hotel industry, whose main clientele are Torch ship captains, could not neglect this fact, and over time, these underground warship summoning rooms came into being. As the name implies, these underground warship summoning rooms are spaces specially carved out beneath the hotels, large enough to accommodate the summoning of a Torch warship by a Torch ship captain, with the Kilometer-class rooms naturally corresponding to cruiser-class Torch warships. Inside the summoning room, after a good wait, the feature of the Void Prison that Song Mingsong activated finally took effect. With his active control, the enclosing glow of the space screen covered just the entire underground summoning room. At the same time, in a hidden monitoring room of the Tenger Hotel, one of the monitoring screens suddenly went dark, losing all imagery. Seeing this, the monitoring personnel in the room swiftly cut off the monitoring of that particular summoning room. The ability to sever the surveillance from the outside precision monitors was sufficient to prove the monitored party's remarkable skills. To avoid provoking those better left unprovoked, hotel monitoring staff would immediately cease monitoring of the designated summoning room in such cases. Elsewhere, inside the summoning room, the effectiveness of the Void Prison was affirmed as the Song family members lightly nodded. Soon, a faint humming emanated from the Furious Lion's hangar, and then they saw the Covenant, which should have been sealed, slowly emerge. As soon as the Covenant left the hangar, Song Mingsong quickly retracted the Furious Lion, clearing the somewhat cramped space in the summoning room entirely. Observing the reinvigorated Covenant, Song Kai remained calm among the crowd, unsurprised. Indeed, the Covenant was already bound to its second captain, and this captain was not a member of the Song family but a white seed of Torch from the Tros family, specially brought out by the uncle. The person's identity was not important because they were already enslaved by a special control component on the uncle's flagship, their own warship Lost, much like Grim Tros before them. Their role was to temporarily control the Covenant and establish the entrance to the Dragon Blood Mystic Realm, bound by the Secret Realm Binder. Afterwards, they would be of no further use. Of course, this didn't mean that the Dragon Blood Mystic Realm's entrance would be forever situated here. For now, the Song family merely wanted to get an early insight into the Secret Realm. After inspecting the variety of resource outputs within the realm, they would destroy this entrance and wait to relocate it until they had settled back into their family lands. With a flash of light between his eyebrows, Song Mingsong's brows trembled slightly at the ancestral aperture. Then a tangerine glow flickered from the starry sky monitor embedded in the warship. Following these proceedings, a slight change occurred to the surrounding Void Prison, retaining only its sealing functionality, while its attribute for sealing the internal space was temporarily removed. Then, under the signal from Song Shan, the Tros clansmen inside the Covenant took action, activating the Secret Realm Binder. Soon, faint spatial fluctuations emanated from a position not far in front of the Covenant. As time progressed, these fluctuations intensified, until a vortex of void measuring several meters in diameter finally coalesced. Watching the space portal that had appeared out of thin air, the members of the Song family felt a surge of joy, yet they did not rush forward. Instead, they summoned several soldier figurines to scout ahead. According to the Secret Realm Binder's feature description from earlier, this entrance was likely connected to the so-called Dragon Blood Mystic Realm. However, whether this was truly the case, they could not be 100% certain. Even if it was, the dangers that might be present within the Mystic Realm were also unknown. Sending the soldier figurines ahead to scout was the most appropriate action. Song Mingsong's gaze shifted, and he glanced at Song Kai standing behind him. Receiving his grandfather's signal, Song Kai nodded. The ghost light flickered on his forehead as the brainwave remote control system aboard the Kongchong was activated. After making a brainwave imprint on one of the third-rank Fierce Flame Soldier figurines standing before him, 4 figurines stepped towards the vortex of void. A few minutes later, Song Kai gently shook his head. There is no danger. The portal leads to a fragment of floating land, which should undoubtedly be the Dragon Blood Mystic Realm. Hearing his confirmation, the others were no longer apprehensive, but to be on the safe side, they still had the third-rank soldier figurines carried by Song Mingsong and Song Shan lead the way. After a bout of mild weightlessness, Song Kai and the others disappeared into the spatial portal. The environment inside the Dragon Blood Mystic Realm was not much different from that of the Moruo Secret Realm they had experienced before, a dark and eternal void of sealed-off star space. The only difference was, compared to the floating land in the Moruo Secret Realm, which was at least comparable to a second-rank starry sea floating land, the floating land beneath their feet was much smaller. Of course, this was not due to the innate size when the Mystic Realm was first formed, but rather due to subsequent damage. The group successively summoned their flagship warships. Song Ting, Song Shishi, and others boarded the Furious Lion, and once the torch warships soared into the sky, they soon saw the astonishing ruins at the right corner of the floating land below from a bird's eye view. This ruin stretched for tens of thousands of kilometers, destroying much of the primal environment atop the floating land below and causing more than 70% of the area of this starry sea floating land to collapse. Inside the Furious Lion, Song Mingsong let out a sigh. There must have been combat involving powers at the 5th rank level in this mystic realm. Otherwise, such destruction would not have been possible. What a pity. As he spoke, his gaze rapidly swept over the intact pieces of floating land below, and he quickly said, "Quick, conduct a thorough search of the entire fragment below to see if that special resource unique to the mystic realm has been preserved." As soon as he finished speaking, more than a dozen torch warships dispersed and descended below, each responsible for a section, and commenced a systematic search of the remaining fragments of the floating land. 2 hours later, the family regrouped, and after such a lengthy search, they had identified all the resource points preserved on the fragments of the floating land below. On one side, Aunt Zhao Hongshui softly reported the findings. "We have identified a total of 15 resource points so far, 14 of which are resources still considered rare in the outside world, including obsidian, mercury crystals, and celestial flowers. Additionally, there's one special resource point from the partly destroyed Mystic Realm, known as the Dragon Blood Tree." What followed was a detailed introduction to the Dragon Blood Tree. The Dragon Blood Tree can produce ordinary dragon blood fruit once every 1,000 years, which extends life by 10 years, but is only effective for life entities of 2nd rank or below. Every 3,000 years, it can produce high-rank dragon blood fruit, extending life by 30 years, effective only for 3rd rank and below life entities. Every 10,000 years, top-rank dragon blood fruit can be produced, extending life by 50 years, effective for 4th rank and below life entities. While a person can only consume 2 of the same type of dragon blood fruit, just the lifespan extension feature alone highlights the value of the Dragon Blood Tree and the Dragon Blood Fruit. However, what the Song family members found most regrettable was that the Dragon Blood Tree Grove was situated right at the edge of the battlefield ruins, leaving only 10 surviving dragon blood trees. Furthermore, since each dragon blood tree could only bear a maximum of 5 fruits at a time, the total number of dragon blood fruits in the Mystic Realm did not exceed 50. Among these less than 50 dragon blood fruits, the oldest one was only 999 years, still several months shy of a millennium. One could guess that John Troz must have accelerated the time in this secret realm as soon as he obtained those void crystals, but due to what was probably a shortage of crystals, these dragon blood fruits hadn't fully matured. Let alone dragon blood fruits that were over 3,000 years old, even those that prolonged life by 10 years. So the Millennium Dragon Blood Fruits were lacking somewhat, requiring a few more months to wait. To this, Song Kai felt it was only to be expected, considering that the void crystals he provided were at their highest 1st rank, with the vast majority being 0 rank. If such low-rank void crystals could accelerate a secret realm for tens of thousands of years, that would indeed be too far-fetched. From another perspective, this also suggested that these dragon blood trees must have only sprung up recently, being merely the faint remnants of the original dragon blood tree orchard in the secret realm. Otherwise, after hundreds of years of accelerated time, the dragon blood fruits would not be under a millennium old. For this, the Song family members naturally heaved sighs of disappointment. If that original orchard of dragon blood trees had been preserved, not to mention millennium dragon blood fruits, there would likely have been a vast quantity of 3,000-year-old ones, and there might even have been exceptionally rare 10,000-year-old supreme dragon blood fruits. Just the thought of possible 10,000-year-old dragon blood fruits being destroyed in that unknown great battle made everyone feel uncomfortable, resenting the perpetrator for such a wasteful destruction. At this moment, the old patriarch Song Mingsong spoke up. Remember, if you come across resources like void crystals in the future, try to acquire them as long as the price isn't too inflated. As he spoke, Song Mingsong's gaze swept over Song Kai. Though he didn't elaborate, Song Kai understood his grandfather's meaning immediately. He should pay more attention to such opportunities in the Ruins Market secret realm. If they encountered void crystals again, they must not let them slip by. After everyone nodded in agreement, having completed the inventory of various resource points in the secret realm, they didn't stay long and one by one took their leave. In the external warship's summoning room, the faces of the Song family members all bore smiles. Despite some regrets about the once dragon blood tree orchard, they were quite satisfied with this dragon blood mystic realm overall. At least its signature resources were still present, even if the yield was small. Compared to those shattered secret realms that had lost their special resources, the value was entirely incomparable. Quickly, the group acted together to re-destroy the entrance to the secret realm within the summoning room, and then summoned the Furious Lion to retrieve the Covenant Guardian warship. Only then did they turn to leave. After greeting his elders, Song Kai stayed behind. He summoned the Kongchong, ready to use the newly acquired 1,000 strands of second-rank floating land origin to enhance the Kongchong for a new round. The first to be enhanced was the electromagnetic ray cannon. This shipborne secondary cannon was the only one out of the few blue components on the Kongchong that had a feature, and it was a top rank among blue components. Are you sure you want to consume 15 strands of second-rank floating land origin plus 8,000 spectral energy points to upgrade the electromagnetic ray cannon from LV-20 to LV-21? Confirm. In the end, Song Kai spent 349 strands of second-rank floating land origin to enhance this top-rank secondary cannon from LV-20 to LV-30. Though the cost was astonishing, the enhancement of the electromagnetic ray cannon's attributes was definitely worth the expense. Electromagnetic ray cannon LV-30 quality, blue feature, lightning arc splash. Consumption: 20 per shot, spectral energy points, might, 2700. No need for buffering and charging up rank requirement. 10 strands of floating land origin, third rank, 20,000 spectral energy points. Lightning arc splash. Creatures damaged by the electromagnetic thunderball will splash 50% of the damage received to the nearest 12 creatures around them. Not only had the damage surged tenfold, but the effect of the lightning arc splash had also improved significantly. This meant that its area damage would be even more astounding in the future, a piece of good news. After enhancing the electromagnetic ray cannon, Song Kai opened the Kongchong's attributes panel, contemplating which component to enhance next. After enhancing the electromagnetic ray cannon, the second-rank floating land origin left in his hand had dwindled to just over 600 strands, barely enough to enhance 2 more components to the third tier, so careful consideration was necessary. Name: Kongchong. Model: Torch Spectral Airship. Level: LV-10. Base components: Blue Torch Hull LV-10, Pure Yang Swordbeam Cannon, Orange, LV-30, Electromagnetic Ray Cannon, Blue, LV-30, Starshine V-Type Alloy Armor, Blue, LV-29, Shadow Capture Antimatter Overstate Engine, Purple, LV-30, Dark Matter Energy Shield Generator, Orange, LV-30, Sky Eye Patrol Radar, Blue, LV-30, Spectral Cultivation Room LV-0, 8/8. Additional components: Fire Peony Soldier Effigy Tree, White, LV-20, Brainwave Remote Control System. Purple, LV-23. Abnormal Status Purifier. Blue, LV-20. Purple River Translocation Device. Blue, LV-20. Healing Fruit. White, LV-29. Fixed Point Launch Pad. Blue, LV-20. Phantom Thruster. Purple, LV-20. Blood Soul Stigma. Blue, LV-20, 8/14. Spectral Energy Pool. 60,000, 60,000. Supplies. 4th rank Floating Land Origin 20 strands. 3rd rank Floating Land Origin 150 strands. 2nd rank Floating Land Origin 674 strands. There are 5 blue components available for continued enhancement, namely, Starshine V-Type Alloy Armor, Abnormal Status Purifier, Purple River Translocation Device, Fixed Point Launchpad, and Blood Soul Stigma. His gaze swept back and forth across these 5 components, seeking the most cost-effective choice. However, at that moment, Song Ting's voice suddenly reached him from the outside. "Song Kai, come out quickly, Dad is calling for you." Filled with curiosity, Song Kai stepped out from the Kongchong. He didn't rush to retrieve the Kongchong, but looked at Song Ting with a questioning gaze. This girl is full of cunning ideas. She might just want to drag him out shopping. Silver Spear City is incredibly prosperous, an absolute contrast to the White Tower's 5 markets, like heaven and earth. He dared to bet that since yesterday, other than the thought of shopping, nothing else likely crossed her mind. In response, Song Ting rolled her eyes. "Believe it or not, Dad mentioned something about attending an auction, and I'm going ahead." After saying that, she quickly left the summoning room. Song Kai felt a spark of interest within himself. If it was really an auction, then it was something not to be missed. He remembered the last auction he attended at Beiyi had featured a purple-level strange object. Considering the scale of Silver Spear City, an auction held here would undoubtedly have no shortage of good items. Turning around to store away the Kangchong, he put the subsequent enhancements on hold and quickly returned to the Tenger Hotel's lobby. Only after seeing his waiting grandfather and the others did he finally confirm that Song Ting hadn't been lying to him. Ignoring Song Ting, who was making faces at him, Song Kai quickly approached his parents. "Mom and Dad, what auction is this, and what's the caliber?" Song Chao turned with a smile and said, "It's an auction held by the Eagle Chain Auction House, once every 10 years. As for the caliber, you just need to know it's very high. It's the kind where you can't enter without at least 2nd rank strength." Song Kai was taken aback. An auction that only 2nd rank torch ship captains could enter indeed had a high standard. At the previous Beiyi auction, only a few 4th rank torch ship captains attended and, without exception, all were treated as honored guests. Compared to that, the Eagle Chain auction setting 2nd rank as the entry threshold highlighted the vast gap between the two events. This raised Song Chi's curiosity and anticipation even further. What kind of quality items would appear at such a high-caliber auction? As he pondered this, his grandfather made a move, striding towards the exit. Seeing this, the rest of the family hurried to follow. Along the way, Song Kai asked his father another question. "Dad, is this Eagle Chain auction related to the Eagle family of the Principality?" He asked because the Eagle family's reputation was so immense in the entire Chengxing Principality. He remembered textbooks from the past often provided detailed introductions to the Eagle family. The Eagle family, one of the 4 grand families of the Principality at the founding of Chengxing, over 5,000 years ago, descended from the initial Marquis, Robert Eagle, who, following Duke Rosetta, braved hardships to carve out the Chengxing Principality. Finally, Robert Eagle was conferred the title of Marquis of the Principality, establishing a lineage that would last through generations as the first Eagle Marquis. It was because of the Eagle family's renowned name that Song Kai, when first purchasing large machinery, didn't hesitate to choose a machinery store under their jurisdiction. Now hearing the word, Eagle, again, Song Kai subconsciously thought of the legendary family of the Principality, which prompted his question. Song Chao didn't ponder too much and simply nodded. "Yes, This Eagle Auction branch in Silver Spear is a chain auction house under the Eagle family. Their branches exist not only here in the Silver Spear floating continent but also in all those level 2 and above life-type floating lands of the Principality. Upon hearing this, the lively Song Ting suddenly piped up. "Dad, since the Eagle family is so powerful and their legacy dates back to the founding of the Principality, does that mean they are more prestigious than our Dingai Song family?" Caught off guard by this sudden question, Song Chao's mouth twitched slightly and he found himself at a loss for words. At this moment, their mother, who had been silent until then, stepped forward. She ruffled her daughter's soft hair and explained softly, "Well, it's both yes and no. The Eagle family has a long heritage, profound family roots, and indeed they are one of the most powerful in the Principality, with few families able to compare to them. But..." At this, Chen Lixia's tone shifted. Since the death of the first Marquis Robert Eagle over 1,000 years ago, after his failed attempt to reach the 6th rank, the Eagle family has been embroiled in power struggles that have lasted for more than a millennium, with 3 factions within the family continually checking and balancing each other in an endless internal conflict. Upon hearing this, Song Kai had already grasped the situation. It was clear that after the death of the original Marquis Eagle, the one who took over the leadership lacked sufficient prestige, leading to dissent among the various factions and plunging them into ceaseless infighting. 1,000 years of infighting is terrifying to contemplate. Even if the Eagle family once had a profound foundation, they must be finding it hard to keep up. Thus, the message from his mother was simple. The current Eagle family was but a paper tiger, fragile and weakened within. Of course, this fragility was only relative to other powers of the same size. As the saying goes, a starving camel is still bigger than a horse, and any ordinary 4th-rank family that dared provoke them would likely be crushed in an instant. Now knowing that the Eagle Auction House was indeed a property of the Eagle family, Song Chi's anticipation for the auction grew even stronger. Even if, as his mother stated, the Eagle family's strength was not what it once was, stepping back, this was still an enterprise of a founding family of the Principality, so wouldn't their vision and scope naturally far exceed those of ordinary auctions? Silver Spear City, Glittering Street. As the most prosperous area in Silver Spear City, this place could be described in one phrase. Every inch of land is worth its weight in gold. The Silver Spear branch of the Eagle Auction House was located here, spanning thousands of square meters, a testament to its immense wealth. Today, the entrance of the Eagle Auction House was exceptionally bustling, with the latest models of the Penta energy vehicles, produced by the Principality, descending onto the street in front of the venue. One after another, elegantly dressed figures emerged from these energy vehicles, men genteel and refined, women graceful and dignified, drawing gasps of admiration from the crowds on both sides of the street. "Brother, didn't you say the Tri-Energy model was the latest? How come there's now a Penta model?" Song Ting stared at the 4 and 5 model energy vehicles, which appeared even more luxurious than the Tri-Energy model, full of confusion. To this question, Song Kai smiled. "Silly girl. To places like the White Tower floating land at the frontier. The Tri-Energy is the latest model because these 4th and 5th models simply aren't supplied there. Just by the looks of the latest Penta model, one could tell they were extremely expensive. If transportation costs were added, how many in a small place like the White Tower floating land could afford to buy them? Instead of going through the effort and cost, it's better to focus on the prosperous lands of the Principality." Ignoring those who paraded around as if they were nobility, the Song family group quickly entered the auction house one after another. Although the auction house rules stipulated that only 2nd-rank torch ship captains and above had the qualifications to enter, torch ship captains could bring their families, so Song Kai and the rest of the younger generation did not encounter any obstructions. Once inside the auction house, even someone with the disposition of Song Kai was somewhat shocked. The cylindrical building spiraled upwards, with a private box every 10 meters or so. There wasn't the usual auction stage seen in common auctions. Each box was equipped with real-time communication, and once the auction started, every item would have its information projected directly into each box. In one of the upper middle boxes, The Song family members sat on the circular sofa, waiting for the auction to begin. Half an hour later, as an image suddenly appeared in the real-time communication screen at the front of the box, Song Chi's entire body jolted, his hair standing on end. It wasn't just Song Kai and the other younger members of the Song family. Song Shan, Song Hai, and others felt the same, and even Song Mingsong, sitting in the principal seat, experienced the same chilling effect, as if death was a mere step away. At first, the aura seemed vast like the abyss, then ethereal like the wind, and finally, turned into bone-chilling cold, unpredictable and ever-changing. Thankfully, it only lasted for the span of a breath before dissipating like smoke, as if it had never been there at all. From the principal seat, Song Mingsong's face was tight as he said solemnly, "That was fourth-rank life pressure." Without waiting for others to speak, he continued on his own. It seems that the fourth-rank torch ship captain of this Eagle auction house is using this method to warn everyone not to cause trouble during the auction. In the private box, everyone's heart couldn't calm down for a long time. The feeling just now, that life and death were not in one's own hands, as if others could let one die without a sound with a mere thought, was indeed not too pleasant. However, before they had time to readjust their emotions, the figure in the live communication projection in front of them began to speak slowly. Eagle Family Auction House, Silver Spear Chain Branch, the 258th auction, is now officially open. Song Kai did not pay any attention to what the figure was saying. His gaze was fixed on the live communication projection, or more accurately, on the figure in the projection. This person was clearly floating in midair above the auction house, yet no spectral energy fluctuations could be seen around him. Although his face was not covered, no one in the auction house could see it clearly. That's when he heard his father's voice in his ear. This person is the fourth-rank existence of the Eagle family stationed at the Silver Spear branch, surrounded by a fourth-rank life-form force field. Those below fourth rank cannot capture his true face. Upon hearing his father's explanation, Song Kai suddenly understood, and then he asked another question that he was quite curious about. "Dad, I remember the guardian of our White Tower floating land is also a member of the Eagle family, right? What's their relationship?" He remembered hearing from his mother and father in the past that the guardian of the White Tower seemed to be named Gerald Eagle, obviously also a member of the Eagle family. And it was precisely because of this that his curiosity was piqued. The figure before him and the guardian of the White Tower, both members of the Eagle family and both fourth-rank level torch ship captains, why was there such a huge disparity between their situations? One had been stationed in a remote borderland for 100 years while the other managed a large, well-reputed auction house on the prosperous Silver Spear floating continent, opulently wealthy. Upon hearing this, Song Chao did not respond immediately. At this, Song Kai glanced at the live communication projection in front, and did not continue to press the question. It wasn't until the figure in the live communication projection completely vanished after a flicker that Song Chao spoke in a low voice. "This person is the cousin of that White Tower guardian, born into one of the three major factions of the Eagle family. The White Tower guardian has reached his position step by step on his own merit, but without someone above him, he's been subjected to ostracism." Hearing this, Song Kai shook his head. A person who had worked his way up step by step, whether in terms of innate talent, character, or encounters, was definitely top-notch. Yet such a person with great potential for the future was being undermined by his own clan members to such an extent that it reflected just how severe the infighting within the Eagle family had become. Even at the bottom of his heart, Song Kai harbored a more direct thought. This family is indeed rotten to the core. However, although he had these reflections, he wouldn't say them out loud. There were definitely many within the Chengxing Principality who shared his views, but to openly declare them would likely invite trouble to his doorstep. Without time to think too much, shortly after the disappearance of the fourth-rank existence, the live communication projection quickly fluctuated, and immediately the information about the first auction item was displayed. Item name: Magnetic Field Shield Generator. Attributes: Magnetic Field Shield Generator LV0 Quality, Purple. Feature: Shield value increased by 25% consumption. 7 per second, spectral energy points. Defense. 17 shield value. 213 213th charge. 30s. Post-overload buffer. 1 hour. Up rank requirement. 7 strands of 0 rank floating land origin, 700 energy points, 1 ton of magnetic ore. Auction conditions. 2nd rank or above floating land origin, same quality component for barter, specific materials needed for advancement from 2nd to 3rd rank are acceptable. As soon as this auction information appeared, different bids quickly flashed one after another on the live communication projection. 500 strands of 2nd rank floating land origin, 600 strands of 2nd rank floating land origin, 800 strands of 2nd rank floating land origin, 1 purple quality engine plus 50 strands of 2nd rank floating land origin. 1 piece of 10,000 years volcanic magma iron essence plus 200 strands of 2nd rank floating land origin. These bids ranged from low to high, and it seemed that there were staff from Silver Spear Auction House operating behind the live communication projection, moving each higher valued bid automatically to the top of the projection. However, among the members of the Song family, none had ever attempted to make a bid. As it stood, all 8 of the family's 2nd rank torch ship captains were already equipped with purple quality energy shields, and Song Mingsong and Song Shan needed no further mention. As for Song Kai and the other 4 first rank juniors, aside from Song Kai himself, even though they had substantial gains in the recent 2 operations, asking them to buy a purple energy shield was certainly beyond their financial means. Even Song Kai himself, without utilizing those 150 strands of 3rd rank floating land origin, could not afford a purple component. He currently had over 200,000 0 rank floating land origin and over 10,000 1st rank floating land origin at his disposal, but regrettably, both were the lowest rank of floating land origin, only needed by low rank stellar sea creatures. As for an auction like this, they were utterly irrelevant. He had considered exchanging them on the black market, but in the black market, generally only exchanges between 0 rank and 1st rank floating land origin were supported, with 2nd rank floating land origin seldom appearing, and even if it did, it would be in paltry amounts like 10 or 20 strands, hardly stirring any interest. Song Chi's only option for utilizing his surplus was during the closing stages of each ruins market trade, overpaying with 0 rank or 1st rank floating land origin to exchange with alien species. But even that would net only 100 or so strands at a time, barely exceeding 200 at most. Although not insignificant, compared to the earnings of 0 rank and 1st rank floating land origin after each ruins market trade, it was nowhere near balanced.